What is up, Kalama, and welcome to what we're calling the Kalama Connection. My name is Nick Shanmack, and I'm the Communications Manager for Kalama School District. And on behalf of Kalama Schools, I just want to say thank you for tuning in to this new program, which we're using as a platform to share inspiring stories from within Kalama School District. And trust me, there are a lot of them. On this show, I'll be interviewing students, teachers, district staff members, members of the community at large about all things education, from the classroom to the playing field, robotics, drama club. There's a lot to talk about. So let's jump in. My first guest is here to discuss some very exciting news about Kalama's Career and Technical Education Program, which is also known as CTE. Now, the program just received word that it has been awarded a $330,000 grant from the state that's going to completely transform the program and provide new career graduation pathways for students in Kalama. So to discuss this news is the program's director at Kalama, Mr. Cory Torppa.
Thanks, Cory, for spending a few minutes to talk about the CTE program and this grant. Can you, first of all, just describe the CTE program in Kalama?
Well, our CTE program, which stands for Career and Technology Education, we are very fortunate to have what we have here at Kalama. We have a lot of courses to offer, computer applications courses where kids can get Microsoft certification. We have your traditional woodworking, multiple levels of that. We have manufacturing, we've got construction, we've got robotics, forestry, agriculture. So we've really, I'm sure I'm leaving something out, but not on purpose. We've got a lot to offer for such a small school. So it's really exciting. There's a few reasons for that. Really, we've got a very supportive administration that really truly believes in CTE and in hands-on learning and applying learning. So that's a really key component. We also have an incredibly an awesome local CTE advisory group that is made up of local representatives, and they have just done a great job of helping advise myself and our fellow CTE staff on what they really think needs to be taught here at Kalama High School. And that's really driven a lot of our newer courses and a lot of decision making as well. So very thankful to have them. Got a great CTE staff. We're small, but they're all very energetic and do great at what they their specialty. And then I'm being the CTE director. I'm not one to ever acknowledge anything that I do, but I'm pretty darn driven to have great programs and not just good. And so I spend countless hours going after grants, researching other programs, other schools, talking with local representatives, local industry. And I really have a vision that, I'm trying to prepare all of our Kalama students for career and college ready. So not all our students are just going to go to college. And so I really want to be able to offer programs here at Kalama where they're learning skills, whether they're going into entry level, straight out of high school, they're going into work, or they're going to a trade school, tech school, apprenticeship program, four-year college, military. And so that's really my goal, is just to be able to provide these kids a really well-rounded education. So that's pretty much it. We're just trying to keep growing what we already have going right now. So pretty exciting.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is that the advisory group that you mentioned, is that made up of folks in industry? And the point is to ensure that what's being taught in our schools are the skills and the experiences that businesses need. So you're not falling behind on where the industry trends are going. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. We meet usually about 3 times a year. It's made up of obviously our CTE staff, our administration, our counselors, and then we are very well represented from our local industry, and they share out some of the trends and things that they're seeing, some of the skills that they would like to see taught. And we don't just listen, we actually are acting the last few years, we've done a lot of adding curriculum and projects to our program as a result from the advice that they've been giving us. So it's been great partnerships.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of kind of staying cutting edge and teaching what industry's current needs are, I mentioned at the top this new grant award.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about what this is going to fund in the program.
Well, I'm smiling ear to ear for that. This grant is huge. Being a small school, it's hard to turnkey and update equipment and your labs and really try to parallel industry because things are changing so much, and a lot of what we've had has been outdated. But the grant is really going to focus on multiple programs and courses. One of the biggest thing is we currently at Kalama no longer have a computer lab. Once COVID hit, we went to 1-to-1 ratio, small laptop devices, which has been great, but it's not real sufficient for teaching, industry standards. So we're putting in a new computer lab where we've got dual monitors. Our students are able to take Microsoft Office specialist tests for Word, PowerPoint, Excel. And in order to be able to do that safely, we need to be able to run a software that is secure and we can manage the environment. And so we're bringing back a computer lab, and we're going to, we don't have one now. So that's a huge plus. Our students then are going to be able to get dual credits through Lower Columbia College by taking some of our computer applications courses, as well as get up to 12 credits, by the way, as well as get Microsoft certification. So that's a huge focus. And we're also going to be using that, our advisory group, as well as I'm hearing a lot from industry. They'd like to see us go towards more of a digital portfolio, so students are able to share with us come senior year, what skills do you have, what have you done in your high school career that you want to show us. And so really excited to be able to provide that opportunity for our kids. So that's huge. The new computer lab is going to be real big. In our skill and tech department, we have two different programs that will be really benefiting from this. One is our construction. I'm going to be adding a construction 2 course where we are basically going to be implementing a new curriculum, new tools, storage, and all the necessary tools to implement that curriculum. And to be honest with you, my goal in the next couple of years, within the next few years, is to be able to build a tiny house with Kalama students. So that's my goal. So that's my vision. And the curriculum that we're going to be working through, the tools, the storage, and all the equipment and stuff is really driven for that end capstone project and to help support that. Mm-hmm. Our manufacturing class, which is basically our metals class, if you would, we're going to be updating a few of our welders, advancing our welding program. A few reasons for that. One is we are partnered up with Lower Columbia College, so we'll be able to offer more dual credits. So we're going to offer or implement a couple new welders and techniques to be able to offer more dual credit opportunities in parallel Lower Columbia College. We are also going to be getting a couple pieces of equipment, a large bandsaw, so that we can cut our weld coupons, and we're going to get a weld test bender so students we can bend their welds and check it and really try to prepare them for welding certifications. Can't do that here in-house, but at least we can prepare kids and go through the process and get them prepared to go somewhere and take their certification tests. We also are going to be purchasing an iron worker machine and a couple other pieces of equipment as well, so that our students can try to parallel industry more and actually fabricate more projects here in-house. So putting their welding techniques and practice to use. Our STEM program, we're going to be adding all new robotics kits, curriculum, and all the training necessary to beef up a robotics 1 course, but also add a robotics 2 course. This grant was all about graduation pathways. And so, you're hearing me speak of add a construction 2 course, add a robotics 2 course. When we can add a second course or second level, we've accomplished that graduation pathway for our students. So it's a really big piece for us to be able to do that. So I'm really excited to see we're updating our robotics to really a high standard. We're going to be adding drones into our program, computer programming, and also that's going to allow us to run a after school robotics club, an official club starting next year. So
Wow.
big stuff. Yeah.
Well, I know that that your program, and hats off to you, is recognized around the community as an excellent program. And just to hear about all these new elements that are coming soon, thanks to this grant funding and your vision, I'm just so excited to see what comes out of this. And before I let you go, just speaking of this current year, we're winding down. What are your students working on right now?
Pretty busy. We're currently in construction. We're building, we are finishing up 4 sheds that we currently have. Most of them are already pre-sold. Parents of students, which is kind of fun. They want their end product. So we're working on that, and then we're going to spend the rest of the year building, tool holders and storage. Now that we have this new facility and we have kids back, I've never had a chance to actually set it up the way that I really want it to. So looks like our construction numbers next year are going to double. So we're going to add another course. And so that's a good problem to have, but we need to just we're going to kind of prepare for that. Our welding kids are doing advanced welds that we've never done before, which is pretty awesome. So they're fabricating projects as well. We have our kids that are into running our mills and our lathes. We have a couple of them that are building little steam engines. So they're having to use a lathe and a mill to machine parts to the nearest thousandths of an inch. And hopefully in a month or so, we're going to actually see if they work. So big stuff there. Woodworking program. Mr. Pollock does an incredible job. His advanced kids are planning, designing their own projects. It's always fun to see what they got going on in there. Really good stuff. And I can't speak for all programs because I teach full time and I don't get to go and wander around and see what we have going on. We're lucky to have the forestry program. They swing by my classroom and they head up into the woods and they are working on different plots of land up there and how they could use that. So that's super exciting. Anyway, we just have a lot going on. It's a busy time.
Absolutely. Well, just hearing about all these opportunities for hands-on learning, it's just really, really awesome. I know so many kids that is their preferred way to learn, and it makes the teaching come alive. So
Yeah.
just really awesome, really cool to hear about all of these great things coming and happening now as well. So thanks again, Cory, for spending a few minutes.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Okay, next up, we have a fun Q&A segment featuring a Kalama student. We call it A Look at a Chinook.
My name is Mary Monday. I am in 4th grade and my teacher is Mrs. Dolan. Probably PE. I just like to exercise a lot. It builds muscle and you need muscle for horse riding. I just love to be around horses. They're awesome creatures, they're gentle, sweet, kind. They do whatever you want them to. It's called Pioneers. We are basically studying about the pioneers and just doing a lot about pioneers stuff. Yes, I do. I'm actually reading it in class right now. It's called Snowman, A True Story of a Champion. He's actually an $80 draft horse that turned out to be a literal champion horse. And his rider is really nice too. Yes, it's actually called Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. It's a movie on Amazon, I'm pretty sure. I'm kind of excited, but I'm also kind of nervous. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's either Monopoly, the game of life, or Yahtzee. Ketchup. Hold on. Chocolate, for sure. Definitely dogs. I have two. I'm either going to be an engineer like my dad, a veterinarian, or Taos County Public Works, like my mom.
Gotta love that. Okay, our next guest, we're gonna stay with Kalama Elementary School and check in with one of our second grade teachers, Katy Pietsch.
All right, so we're joined by Katy Pietsch, second grade teacher at Kalama Elementary. Thanks for spending a few minutes here to talk, Katy.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so before we get into what's going on in your classroom, how long have you been teaching in Kalama?
I've been teaching in Kalama for over 10 years, just over 10 years, but I grew up in Kalama. So
Okay.
Kalama kid, come back to help raise the little Kalamanites.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's exactly what we want. Is there something that drew you to being an educator that you could touch on?
I had really wonderful, supportive teachers at Kalama that had pushed me towards education, and I wasn't sure at first, and I'm sure glad they continued pushing, because this is definitely my passion, where I was meant to be. And Kalama is not only just my hometown, but I can't imagine teaching anywhere else. I love the supportive community that we have. I love that I get to see my kids, because it is a small school, continue to grow through their school experience, even when they're big high schoolers coming back to visit me. That is just the coolest part about Kalama.
That's great. So I know that one of the important issues that the elementary school has been focusing on with discussions at each grade level has been bullying prevention. And so I'd love to hear about how those conversations have gone in your class, what you've seen as a teacher.
Mr. Fenter and Ms. Dolezal have brought really great strategies to our kids. I think that the terms they've given the kids to use are really powerful for them to feel confident enough to stand up for themselves. And we've had a lot of good discussions in our class about the difference between bullying and bothering, how that repeated piece, how it's crossing that line more than just tapping a pencil against a water bottle, that is bothering instead of bullying. I think it's giving them a lot more foundation for being able to stand up for themselves in a positive way and for others.
Yeah, and second grade in particular, it's such an important age to learn the words that go with the different feelings, and you know, the social elements that you kind of use the rest of your schooling and the rest of your life. A lot of that happens in second grade, right?
It's the best grade.
What are students learning in your class right about now, this time of year?
So we just had in April a bunch with planting. So my kids got to experience watching the germination process of bean seeds and sunflower seeds. And we got to go on a nature walk in conjunction with the high school natural resources class to the outdoor classroom that Kalama School District has. And even though it was absolutely pouring down rain, it was really fun and exciting for these kids, especially who haven't been on a field trip since their kindergarten year got interrupted by COVID.
Yeah, so I imagine that's got to be an awesome experience for those kids, and you know, living in the Pacific Northwest, kind of feel like they need to experience it in the rain. Well, before I let you go, I'd love to just give you the opportunity. Is there anything else that you'd like the community, anyone listening, anyone watching, to know about Kalama Elementary School or your classroom in particular?
I have the best class in the entire school. My sweet peaches, I hope will come back and visit me forever. And if you are a past peach, even if you were mine before my name changed, I hope you come visit. You're always welcome here.
Well, thank you, Katy Pietsch. Thank you for coming, spending a few minutes talking about your classroom. Really good stuff.
Thank you.
All right, now before we wrap up this first episode, just a couple of quick announcements. On Thursday, May 26th at 6 p.m., the district is hosting a community open house celebration of our new facilities. So the elementary school building, the new secondary school building, the third floor science rooms in the high school. Come out, the whole community is invited, ask questions, take a tour of the building, find out about career opportunities in the district. There's a lot going on. Everyone's invited. So again, Thursday, May 26th at 6 p.m. and it begins in front of the new secondary school building, which is at 550 China Garden Road. And I'd like to give a shout out before we go to the Kalama School District Dining Services team. Now, this team was recently awarded a Western Regional Team Cheers Award from Chartwells. Now, Chartwells provides food programs for school districts across the country. And right here in Kalama, our team won this award for demonstrating excellence and bringing Chartwell's values to life in the community. So a huge shout out to them. Nice job. Thank you again for watching this first episode of the Kalama Connection. I hope you found this format informative and engaging. And I'd love to hear if you have thoughts about topics you'd like us to cover or interviews you would like to see. Go ahead and shoot me an email. I'll leave my email address right here below. Love to hear from you. And again, thank you for watching. It means a lot. And we will see you next time.